You're bad.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the common council meeting at 7 p.m. Can we please rise for the pledge of allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Carol, let's start out with roll call, please. Steve Beardsley,
Present.
Mike Bright,
President.
Brant Fuller,
Present.
Joe Palmer,
Present.
Megan Sheets, Clarence Worthen,
Present.
Eric Woods is absent. Okay, first on the agenda, then we have the minutes from the June 28th regular meeting.
I just have a quick comment about the minutes. I wonder a second page under new business when we're talking about the townships for the fire contracts. Could we add a little bit of clarification for Union in Jackson Township where it says plus an additional amount? Could we also state from their fire queue? Just so it's a little more detailed that way.
Yes. I think that's probably a good idea.
So can the motion be that
As an amendment to either go ahead and pass them with the amendment.
I'll make the motion we approve with those suggested corrections.
I'll second that.
Any discussion or questions? Okay, roll call please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Okay, did we have any public comments? Did anybody see any out there?
No. There's none.
No. Okay, at this time, I'm going to recess the council meeting and open a public hearing on ordinance number 21-09. And this is for an additional appropriation for the $200,000 for paving. Is there any comments, questions, or any concerns from the public or from council members? You have anything, Les? Okay, then I will close the public hearing and reopen the council meeting. Next on the agenda is ordinance number 21-09. And as I said before, this is for the $200,000 additional appropriation in the Board of Works budget that would provide for paving within the city. And if we get the CCMG grant, that would double that amount, which would make $400,000. So,
Can we do that on second and third with Councilman missing Lester?
Yes, you can amend it on second.
Well, no, we were gonna do second and third reading.
You need a majority of the whole council.
Okay, which we should be okay. Okay, good. I just want to make sure before we made those motions, I want to make sure that we can do that.
You have to have unanimous to do that.
Have unanimous consent.
Yeah.
Takes everybody that's here.
yeah, we're not gonna amend anything. We're just gonna,
Yeah, okay, good. I just want to make sure before we look forward.
okay. So either I need a motion to go ahead and,
I'll make a motion to
Pass it on
suspend the
second.
rules, pass it on second and third reading.
Second.
roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
And I would move that we go ahead and pass it on second and third reading then.
I'll second that too.
Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance number 21-09 passes on second and third reading. Jason,
Thank
you got that extra 200,000, so when you fill out that grant, we have that to add to it. Next on the agenda is ordinance number 21-10, and this is second reading. Is there any discussion on this ordinance? This is,
We can make a motion to suspend the rules on that one too, and make it second, third reading.
is that a motion?
Yes.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mike.
Is this time to discuss or?
Go ahead.
Well, I was just curious, this is being rezoned, the playground area as well,
Yes,
the way I read it.
yes.
Just out of curiosity, do we know what's gonna happen to the playground equipment?
Yes, I'm sorry, Brian speaking. It's been transferred to donated by the schools to Third Street Park.
Originally, that was the case, but they went back on it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The person that wanted the property, also wanted the playground equipment.
That answers my question. I was hoping we could get it for the
Parks.
park. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. Did somebody second that?
Yes, Megan
Okay,
seconded.
roll call on that then.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
All right,
Okay, so I have a motion to pass.
make a motion, we accept 2110 on second and third.
Second. Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
All right,
Okay, ordinance number 21-10 passes on second and third reading. Okay, next on the agenda, we have ordinance 21-11. This is on first reading, and it's amending the water rates to establish a revised fee schedule. Could I have a motion to either read it by title or in its entirety?
I move we read by title only.
second that.
Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller, Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
All right,
Ordinance number 21-11, an ordinance amending the water rates to establish a revised fee schedule.
Okay, and tonight we have with us Chris Hensley and Todd Corey to discuss this ordinance. Todd, would you like to
Sure,
present information on this, please?
sure. This is something that's been in the works. Chris has done a tremendous job putting this together. And what it all boils down to is we used to run our water plant 24/7. And we would have people there at the plant if there was an after hours turn on for a disconnect, different things. If there's temporary turn on, turn offs, we could do it for a very minimal fee because somebody was already at the shop. Now we don't have that because we've gone lean and mean at this point in time, operating the plant like it was designed to operate. So that's just, that's a small portion of it, but there's other fees in here that are gonna be new to us. The hydrant rental fees, hydrant meter fees, I'm sorry, is another one that goes in there. Because these things are very expensive. We get them stolen, lost, damaged. And so we're increasing rental fees on that to cover our cost of these things. For instance, on page 3, you'll see a big difference. There's one second from the bottom is a $1,200 charge. But if you go to somebody that needs a backflow preventer on there, which is pretty much required if they don't have air gaps, that $3,100 just covers our cost. We would not be making any money on it. It's just covered the cost of damaged or stolen property. Other ones in here, meter tampering, which is a big one that we get. We have not had those fees in there before. People will get in, take the meter out, put jumpers in there, try and get free water from us. We don't catch it for a month if they do, or if it's been a disconnect, we won't know until next month. We go back to read something. So there's been a lot added to it. Like I said, the work that Chris done on this other handout that he passed out compared ourselves to other communities our size or in the general area. And we're not the highest, we're not the lowest, we're kind of right in the middle of things on these fees is where we're at. So for everybody in the general public, the only way that they're gonna really get hit with these fees if they need a hydrant meter, if they don't pay their bills, things like that. But to the actual monthly bill, there are no increases going to the actual monthly bill.
Does anyone have any questions for?
Well, you know I would. When's the last time we raised the reconnect fee?
The best that we can tell, what was that in there, Chris? 19?
I have a book here from 1982 and it was $10.
So, but now it's 15 at this point in time. So we can't tell you, but in 1982 it was $10. So it's been a good while.
Okay.
And those fees are actually in line with, before you were on the council, Michael, we did a rate study and changed rates and fee structure as well with the electric. And now the turn on, after hour disconnect, or all the disconnect fees are basically the same as what we have for the electric side of stuff as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Les, will we have a public hearing on this or no? Because
Yes,
of the fees, will we on the next meeting?
August 9th, I think. Your meeting on August 9th is what Alicia.
That's
told me.
correct.
Yeah.
And that notice needs to go in the paper right away too, and Alicia's gonna take care of that, I think,
Oh, she is.
assuming
Okay.
this is passed on first reading.
And then we also have to send in with the bills, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Les, but the people that are outside the city limits, we have to send them notices, and Stacy's taking care of that for us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Are we losing money now on our reconnect fees and all that?
Oh, yes, especially after hours, we are. Daytime hours, it's probably marginal, Brant, but after hours, if somebody calls after 5 o'clock or 4, it's actually 5 o'clock, we're sending the guy out, and we have to pay him 2 hours of overtime to do a $15 disconnect or a reconnect. So yeah, we're losing 3 figures every time we have to send somebody out for one.
Do you know how often are we getting like the after hours reconnect? I know it's gotta vary, but.
Yeah, it depends on which, they call them books, they call them books from when they used to do them all by hand. I call them routes. It depends on which route it is or book it is. Today, I know they had a fairly slow day with 15 disconnects, and a lot of those are taken care of during the day. After hours, I don't know, we might get 2 or 3 a month.
Okay, does anybody have anything else? Okay, thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Chris, for all your work on it as well. Okay, now, would someone like to make a
I move
motion?
approval ordinance 2111 on first reading.
I'll second.
Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright.
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets. Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance 21-11 passes on first reading, and then the next meeting we'll have the public hearing and second reading. Okay, thank you. Under old business tonight, I want to bring up about the golf course committee. There's been some discussion on it. Council member Eric Woods, I don't think still is interested in being on that committee, so I just didn't know which direction we want to go on this. I think it was a committee that was started by the council. Todd might even know more than I do about this, a few years back, right?
It was when they first went to leasing it to Oliphant, so you're talking, 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, okay. And it was made up of,
Then it was Chris, Tim McBarnes, and myself,
okay,
when this is how it got started.
okay.
That's.
Were you on as a council member?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, and then the council has asked, some of the council members have asked me if I would stay on before.
Right.
I know Eric has, so
Mhm.
I have.
so Todd's on it, Brant and Eric, is that correct?
Wasn't Wanda on that at one point? She was.
Yeah,
Was she?
She
Yeah.
was.
She
so
may have taken Chris's place then at that point in time for a short while.
there's been, different discussions, and it was mentioned maybe even having like the Parks Committee take it over, but I don't know, there's a lot to that golf course and to keep it running and what all it entails. I don't know whether you would want to put it under the Parks Committee, whether you want to have the separate committee for that, but if so, we probably need to put someone else on there. I don't think Eric, like I said, was still interested, so.
I know he's got a lot of stuff coming up that we're going to consider.
Jesse does.
And then we need to consider, are we going to stick with a short-term lease or a long-term lease? So I'm at your will. I'm going to stay.
And
I wonder if we could, maintain the committee, or can certainly step away from it if that's his pleasure, but rather than make it a subsection of our Parks Department, which has also been suggested, had little sidebar comments with Bart about this, but he's willing to assist in that. And it's such an important amenity for our community that I suggest the committee meet with a fair degree of regularity, of which they can determine, but at least monthly. And then Bart can include that in his department reports to Board of Works as well. And then we can make sure we're on top of what's going on and help with decisions and that sort of thing. But maybe appoint another member and, but have regular meetings when they can mark their calendars with and then we get Board of Works reporting and even if it needs to come to the council as well.
Have you met?
I think we met once, haven't we?
I mean, I talked to Jesse quite a bit, but we've only actually met one time.
Mhm.
But then by virtue, Bart would be a member of the committee as well. Would that be agreeable? Bart?
Sure.
Yes.
And that would be a good choice.
So you think a council member
Yeah.
and then
Where do you go?
and Todd, and then the parks superintendent?
And Jesse.
Mhm. I think that would work, if Todd's willing to stay on for us.
Yeah, I will, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, okay.
We can twist his arm.
Twists. Do we need
There's
to
no
make
way
a
I
motion
can
to
serve
that effect? Okay, would someone like to make a motion to that effect?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we put Barb on the golf club committee or golf course committee,
Mhm. Along with
along with
Brant.
Brant
as the
and
council
Todd.
member, and Todd, okay,
I'll second that.
okay. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Hey, you're welcome on board.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Mike Bright.
Aye.
Brant Fuller. Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Clarence Worthing.
Aye.
Okay, thank you to those that are gonna serve on the golf course committee. And then you can bring your concerns back to either the Board of Works or the council, whatever the concern may be. Like you said, there's some decisions to be made and also as far as any contract. Okay, sounds good. Does anybody have anything else for tonight? Okay, I'll take, oh,
Just remind everybody, next meeting, we have the work session. It's gonna be a really important one.
yes, it will be very important. We're gonna talk about the pool project, probably even police station. We've got several things to bring up, so. It'll be after the, yeah, immediately following the meeting, so. Okay. Anything else?
So moved.
So second.
We don't move, Brant second. I need everybody to sign this.
Building my house.
Please don't make me before you sign.
Maybe
No.
next year, we take a look at.